Hi everyone, today I'm at the Hermitage of Braid on the south side of Edinburgh, and it's the first in a series of walks around Edinburgh. So I'm standing here at the junction of Braid Road, Braidburn Terrace and Hermitage Drive, and you can park along that road along to the right there. And as we turn round, you have two entrances to the Hermitage. To the left and the right of this little coffee house here. This is the Lodge Coffee House, and it's owned by a guy called Mick Mansell. It's absolutely brilliant. Coffee is delicious, beautiful for little cakes and stuff. And I'm going to start off by going up this little option here because it's a little bit quieter. A lot of folk out exercising as we're in lockdown. So this little path takes us round to the same way as the other entrance. And I'm going to take the left hand side of the Braidburn, which is the river it goes through here, and I'm going to start off by showing you the Dovecote. So we start at the little bridge there, and that is the Braidburn flowing down here, and we're going to walk in this direction. If you notice, there's a path on the other side. It's actually an entrance road, but both are accessible. We're going to walk down this side because this is the side of the Dovecote. Now as we walk down here, I'm going to talk about the name Hermitage of Braid. Apparently it was a home to little hermits that lived here many years ago, and the name Braid comes from a guy called Henri de Braid, who was the sheriff of Edinburgh in the 1100s. And he was granted lands by King David I back then, and apparently there was a little castle in the grounds further down next to where the Hermitage house is today, and that castle was demolished in the 1700s to make way for Hermitage House, which was built by a guy called Charles Gordon of Cluny, who was a prominent lawyer in the 1700s. So a lovely bit there for, you see the little bench on the on the straight ahead there. There's little picnic tables there, so it's actually a lovely place to come out for a little walk in the summer, and in the winter it's just as nice. Now as we get closer to Hermitage House, we have now reached the walled garden, and if you look up the hill there, you'll see the Dovecote, or a dovecot as we call it in Scots. And basically this is so the house could be self-sufficient in those days, and probably thousands and thousands of birds in there that they would keep for meat. And there's a little sign telling us about the actual place being a local nature reserve. Lots of different medicinal plants getting grown there, which would have been the case in the 17 and 1800s. But that is the Dovecote there. Isn't that spectacular? Love it. So I'm not going to climb up there because it looks rather slippery, but just to give you an idea of a magnificent Dovecote. Lots of Dovecotes throughout the periods have they've actually endured longer than the actual houses. So, and here's a little board telling us about butterflies. All the little butterflies you get flying around here. Red Admiral, Painted Lady, Small Tortoiseshell, Peacock, Small Heath. Isn't that lovely? Yeah. And there's all the different birds we get in here. A greenfinch, a pied wagtail, a palmate newt, that's not a bird. Dunnock, a rabbit, it's not a bird either. A magpie, robin, wood pigeon, grey wagtail, a shrew, a hedgehog, a grey squirrel, a song thrush, a mole, and a nuthatch, etc, etc. And this is called the Phoenix Garden. What a lovely little gem. So as we're walking down towards the house, we got a splendid view of Hermitage House, built by Charles Gordon, who was a prominent lawyer, like I said before, in the 1700s, and he died around 1814. Now this house had all mod cons. It actually has an ice cave, so that's that's the house, and across here up in the trees we have an ice cave. Isn't that cool? So we're going to go up and have a look at that. Now this would be filled with ice obviously, and then be covered with straw to make it really cold and protect the ice, and be used for keeping meat fresh. And I think I read somewhere about they were able to make sorbet which was a total treat in those days in the late 1700s. So this is up here, this is the little ice cave, or the ice house it's called. Ice houses have been introduced in this country since 1660 by King Charles II's gardener, a man called Rose. And that gives you an idea what the actual cave looks like inside. And this is a curious little door here. Oh, look at that, isn't that spectacular? So in there, goes along a bit and then dips right down. Isn't that spooky? I wish I had a key for that. Now as we come back down from the ice house, we have two options. Now there's a path here which is a lovely walk down through the river, and you cross a few bridges and it eventually takes you out at Liberton. But we're going to go see where the house is. We're going to go that way, and then we're going to go up. We're going to climb Blackford Hill because it's rather beautiful. So now you're walking past the house and you can see the path starting to head up into the trees. Now I've got a bit of a steep climb here, so you're not going to get to hear me breathing deeply, so I'm just going to pause it just now till we get to the top of the hill. So we've now climbed the first hill, heading up to Blackford Hill, and if you look down there, it's quite a big drop down to the river, a couple hundred feet I would say, and you can see where a massive glacier in the Ice Age has cut through the valley here. You can see the land at the other side there. Massive glacier cut into the ground and created a beautiful little valley. So I'm just going to follow this path for a bit longer, and we'll eventually head at the base of the Blackford Hill. Someone's lost their glove. So I've just emerged from the hill, and you can see a little gate in front of us where those people are. We're going to go through that gate, go left, and then immediate right, and then there's a flight of steps takes us up to the top of Blackford Hill, which is on the left hand side there, to the left of the transmitter. So here we go, here's the steps of doom. So I've got to climb those steps to that transmitter, then I turn left and then I climb up there. So I'll see you at the top. There we go, that's it climbed, and I'm now at the transmitter. Now follow this little path here up to the actual summit. Oh, so we get to the top here. The trig point is coming into view, and behind that, the majestic scene of Arthur's Seat, the extinct volcano in the centre of Edinburgh. Absolutely majestic. And there we have her, the icing on the cake, Edinburgh Castle. The whole point of coming up here is to view this masterpiece, Edinburgh Castle and Arthur's Seat in Salisbury Craigs, and all the way down the east coast to North Berwick. So the little hill is in the distance. And looking west, you have Craiglocker Hills, Kirstoffen Hill in the distance, and right down the River Forth. Absolutely magnificent. What a city. And across the water, the Kingdom of Fife. There we go, in front of us. You'll see a building right there, and that's called the Royal Observatory for all the stargazers, part of the University of Edinburgh. Yeah, and then one last look at Arthur's Seat, and right round to Edinburgh Castle, and then a wee zoom in there, and that absolutely majestic. There we go. And right round Royal Observatory. Wonderful. Thanks a lot. Now as we've come down from the Royal Observatory, there's a little path just here, just where that lady is down there, and that takes us down to Blackford Pond, and that's the direction I'm going to head in right now. It's a steep hill down to the pond, it's very beautiful as well. And there's one last look over Arthur Seat. And there's a little road down there, that's called Observatory Road, and that takes you down to the main bus route. So this is the final part of the walk. This is Blackford Pond, and as you can see it's iced over at the moment. It's normally a duck pond, and then you can see up the hill there where we've just come from, and there's a little bandstand over there. This is a beautiful nature reserve right in the centre of Edinburgh. Very much worth a view. Beautiful walk, takes you about maybe an hour, something like that, to walk around. Lovely at the weekends, and usually, like I say, there's usually ducks in there. Don't recommend you walking that even though it's iced over. But there we go, Blackford Pond. And this runs parallel to the main bus route to the right of me. So it looks like we've struck gold. We've got swans, we've got mallards, and we've got lots of different birds in there. Look at that though, look at that. Isn't that absolutely spectacular? Isn't nature incredible? And they're just loving the water. Look at that swan over there, having a great time. Absolutely love this place. Spectacular. He's having a bath. Oh, he's having a great time, isn't he? Or she, I don't know. Look at this wee guy. Oh, look. Hello. No, I don't think he likes me. I like you, I think. Come. Just over to the, you see the houses over there, you can see the main road, that's a main bus route. Just as I've come out of the pond, I've noticed this little rock face here, and it's absolutely stunning. One for all you budding geologists out there. It's got different layers of volcanic ash, fine lava. Wow, it's all like being blown out of a volcano. I think the bottom layer is trachyte, I think. Wow, and then you have a layer of andesite up there. Is that looks more like andesite up there. God, that's so cool. Hi guys, if you look just behind me, you'll see it kind of looks like sort of scruffy bit of land. It's actually called allotments, and that's for people who don't have a garden in Edinburgh. There's little patches of allotments all over the city, and you pay the council a certain amount of money every month or every year, and you get your own little patch of land to grow vegetables and stuff. Absolutely beautiful. And this takes us back to the end, the sort of end of the bottom. I'm just coming up to the bottom of Blackford Hill again. So this kind of finishes the walk really. I've just got to walk back to the van. So I hope you've enjoyed part one of my series of Edinburgh walks. And let me tell you, there's a lot of walks in Edinburgh, and I'll be doing as many as I can over the coming weeks as we're still in lockdown. So if you enjoyed today's video and you can put up with my heavy breathing, please subscribe to my channel. Incidentally, I'm starting a podcast soon, so I'll give you more details on that as well. But for now, thanks very much for watching. Take care everyone, and stay safe.